We've covered some of the basic relationships. Now we're going to go a little more in depth and cover all the relationships that we can possibly add to sketch entities. To get started, we're going to start with coincident. Coincident is probably your most common of the sketch relations. And what that means is it's going to have one point just touching another or one line touching another line. So the origins here, if I would like to make a coincident relationship between the two, I click on the point, hold down Control, select the other point I would like to make that related to. As soon as I let go, it gives me the three options that would be available, the three relationships that would make sense in that situation. So the first one would be either horizontal, vertical, or coincident. So coincident, and that just moves down there and locks onto that origin. It gives us this little reminder box in green showing that the relationship has been added. Now I can move that line around so one side of it's connected, but the other side's still free. I could connect this point and this point in the same manner. But instead of holding down Control and selecting the 2 points, I can just click on that and just drag it over. As I drag it over, notice it snaps onto that point, which produces the same type of relationship and locks those together. So that's a coincident relationship again. But notice it doesn't give us the little green box because it's an implied relationship this time, because they're just saying these 2 points are not connected. So connected and coincident are very similar. This line over here, I can drag around. So we're going to look at a few different of the other relationships we can add to this. First one would be just horizontal. So I'm going to actually drag this down a little bit easier here so you can see. So if I were to just make this line straight and on the horizontal, it would automatically snap to the horizontal, but not necessarily give you that horizontal relationship. Notice it gives it in a white box, means it's implying a horizontal, but it's not actually going to add that relationship. If I do want to add a relationship to make this horizontal, I just click on the line and say horizontal. Now it adds a green box with a horizontal relationship. And now this line can't do anything besides be horizontal. I'm going to draw another line here. Notice if I draw it directly in the vertical, it adds that vertical relationship. If I draw another line, I'll cut it off at an angle here, and I want it to be vertical, I can select the line and then just select vertical. Does the same thing. Notice here, this also added a relationship. Notice the one following the relationship. That means it's a pair. So you're just looking for 1 matches 1, 2 matches 2, 3 matches 3, and so on. So if I highlight that relationship, the two pairs match up. And notice what's saying is the endpoint of this line here is coincident to this line, even though they're actually not touching. So you can move it around. The next one we're looking is at perpendicular. We covered this a little earlier. But say these two lines here, we can say select one of the lines, hold down Control, select the other line. Now we have a whole bunch of options we can use. So I'm going to pick the perpendicular one, and that just adds that right angle to that corner. I can still spin it around, but it continues to maintain that relationship. Parallel is the next one. I'm just going to add one more line over here. To add parallel relationship, I'm just going to select the pair by holding on Control, selecting the two objects, and clicking on Make Parallel. And no matter what I do, I can move these things around. Those are always going to be parallel. Equals the next one. So I'm going to use this pair of lines here. I'll say this line here, hold on Control, that line there, add the equal relationship. Now they're the same length. If I move these things around, I can notice these little helper lines will pop up if I want to arrange these in some manner. I'm going to create some kind of an object or a sketch to be extruded or turned into some kind of geometry. The last one is fix. And fix is very useful if you want to kind of constrain a point or a whole line. So if I just want this whole line here, if I add this little anchor to it that says it's been make fixed, it just means this line can't really move. I can still drag the ends of it, but the line as itself, it can't move. I can't move this line up and down, and I can't drag it, but I can change the length of it still. If I got rid of that one, and I just added that fixed relationship to the end, then just that side of the line won't move. So I can't grab this one. Same thing if I created another line here, just off in space. Actually got rid of that. Add a fixed relationship just at the end of it. Now I have something I can drag around, but it's going to be fixed at one end. Learn and use relationships in your designs. They make for simpler sketches with parametric attributes. They are a fundamental part of SOLIDWORKS and give the designer the added power beyond basic pen and ink sketching.